What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are all having a great day. It's been a while since I've done a video, so thank you for being patient. Plan to do these daily, hopefully starting with this one moving forward. And I did want to mention tomorrow I've got a pretty awesome panel list lined up for Genfinity's second podcast, Twitter Spaces episode. If you don't follow us, it's at Genfinity.io. Last week we had, I think, 3-some thousand listeners, and people like Crypto Eddie, Darren, on there last week. Great people, great contributors. This week we have CEO of the hBAR Foundation. We've got Quincy from the XDC network. We've got Tony from Thinking Crypto. I think Ari and Darren again. We've got XX Network talking about the wallet creation event aspect and how they're trying to facilitate that moving forward. It should be a great show. Looking forward to you guys coming. This video, I've got a ton of information, and I'm going to hop right in. Found some interesting patents regarding Hedera Hashgraph and potentially being utilized within government data initiatives. Found some interesting patents with Ripple and Stellar for supply chain and logistics and transport aspects. One of my patrons actually created an hBAR rich list. Not financial advice, obviously, but it's really cool. I haven't seen one of those yet. And he used some of the tools that Turtle Moon facilitates in the Hedera community. So, yeah, if you want to join us tomorrow, we're going to have a great Spaces, some Ethereum community members in there as well. I did want to start. I've got a lot here, so some of this is kind of going to be rapid fire. First thing, I saw this yesterday, Japan's prime minister saying that the government investment in digital transformation will include metaverse and NFTs. And this is not the first announcement that we're going to see surrounding this. We've seen multiple global financial conglomerates that have done the same thing. Bigger banks like DBS and some other ones as well, I believe. But I wanted to get into this. Also, this is Bank for International Settlements coming out with a bank's exposure to crypto assets document. And it's a novel data set. But yes, banks are exposed to cryptocurrency and digital assets, and this was just a couple of days ago. You can see Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, XRP, ADA. They've got a decent amount of undisclosed there. Solana, Litecoin, Stellar, Binance as well. I just thought it was interesting. This is a gigantic document. I'm not going to read through the entire thing, but yes, banks are, reaching out and exposing themselves into cryptocurrencies and digital assets. I guess the question that I have to ask is, with regulatory clarity, how far does this really go? And I think it's going to be pretty massive. Some of the regulatory aspects are, surrounding how much of a banking portfolio should surround itself with digital assets. I think that it was like 1 or 2% last time I looked, and I think this document somewhere says up to 5%. But yeah, you guys correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong within this. It's a massive document. CFTC, so the Commodity Futures and Trading Commission, publishing kind of low-key 10 digital asset terms that you should know. Money service business, NFT, smart contracts, stable coins, mining, distributed ledger, digital wallet, DeFi or decentralized finance, blockchain, and yes, Bitcoin. Moving forward, this was a big announcement that came out yesterday. So the hBAR Foundation posted that Africa, so literally Africa, their first verifiable emissions reduction platform, which is CYNK, utilizes Hedera to track emissions reduction. And they are going to start trading their first tokens this quarter. The tokens are going to be generated by Tamua, which is Kenya's largest biomass company. The entire article is put behind a paywall, at least for me it is, but this is pretty massive. And where we're going to go with these green initiatives, I'm certainly interested to hear what Shane says tomorrow from the hBAR Foundation on the podcast, because that's a really important question, in my opinion. Where do we go with these green initiatives? Which networks are going to be facilitating that? You'll see moving forward within this this YouTube video that, Ripple has a new partner as well. All right, this I found, though, and this is crazy interesting. I'm trying to get through this stuff as quickly as possible, but this is a patent that was generated by CGI Federal. You'll learn about them in a second. Security platform and method for efficient access and discovery. This is talking about a secure data fabric, or SDF. Can include any security platform for sharing data, access and discovery of data, and audit traceability across disparate data stores and networks. So again, remember Secure Data Fabric, remember CGI Federal. Within this, it's literally stating that CGI Federal's platform is already enabled to interoperate with certain protocols. Now, we know Hedera Hashgraph is not blockchain, but this is probably just for the sake of the patent. Many capabilities are contemplated for an SDF, which we talked about before. For example, blockchain-enabled software can securely manage access to a permissioned network of multiple disparate data sources with known identities. The SDF offers capabilities to leverage different blockchain protocols. And they're talking about Tendermint, Hyperledger Ethereum, Hedera Hashgraph, etc., without altering the APIs associated with data sharing. So remember SDF, remember CGI Federal. CGI Federal deals with multiple government entities. This is CGI Federal because if you look through the patent authors or inventors, Jason Marsh, all these people were with, most of these people were with CGI. CGI Federal at a glance. This is government aspects. These are blogs within CGI Federal, developing 2-year climate plans, modernizing grants data in federal agencies. CGI Federal readies customers for G-invoicing federal mandate with new, So CGI Federal basically upgrades and works with a lot of these government agencies and government clients, right? CGI Federal upgraded 20 federal government clients in the past year to the latest version of its ERP, which is Enterprise Resource Planning Solution. Pretty much like if you work in an office environment and you guys all go through if you go all through the same portal, that's an ERP solution. So governments and organizations within governments, government clients use, similar ERP things. CGI Federal is called Momentum, it looks like. So remember CGI Federal, but this is SDF in that patent, Secure Data Fabric, helping agencies, and this is very much so government agencies. If I go in CGI services and I click directly on federal government, it takes me right to this page. CGI's SDF, or Secure Data Fabric, which is the same thing in this patent, helping agencies move from owning data to sharing and leveraging data such as strategic multipliers and functional assets. Talks about the data fabric, talks about satellite communications. Government agencies 2030 will enable distributed applications that rely on edge and cloud computing. Pretty interesting to see Hedera Hashgraph within that patent as pretty much already being integrated without having to update any APIs from the end users. So found that a little interesting. If you want to check out CGI Federal, you feel free to go ahead and look at CGI.com. All right, so I have to give a shout out to Turtle Moon, creating tools and infrastructure for Hedera Hashgraph, including hgraph.io, Turtle Moon, and obviously hgraph Punks. One of my patrons actually came up with this, which was pretty interesting. He used hgraph.io. Now, he only went with like 65,000 or so wallets, and he excluded anything that was like under 1K, right? As far as a wallet holding 1,000 hBAR. But this is this rich list that he came up with, which I thought was pretty interesting. So hBAR greater than 100 million, only 89 wallets. hBAR, holdings within a wallet greater than 100,000 hBAR, only 5,000, a little over 5,000 wallets. So similar things to what we've seen within the XRP rich list stats. This is not advocacy to go out and buy anything. This video is not paid by Hedera or any of that type of nonsense. It's just I think that community, building out within these tool sets to make some of these numbers more publicly available is great. So you can see the percentiles over here as well. 5K hBAR, 36,672. So 57.42% of holders fall within this range. So pretty cool, and that's obviously always going to be updating and pivoting and shifting. So check out hgraph.io as well. Network data access via GraphQL. Less time writing API calls, more time building experiences. So shout out to Patches. Going to run through a couple of things here real quick before I get into the some of the interesting Ripple and XRP stuff that I've found recently. MasterCard pushing deeper into crypto with new tool for combating fraud. So this is through CipherTrace. This is that carbon market powered by blockchain that was just announced, I believe, today. This is Thallo. You can go down here into partners. You can see these are, I believe, the founding partners. So Ripple, Acclimate, Carbon Business Council, Cello, Strive, and UNDO. This is the tweet. So excited to announce and introduce Thalos founding partners, close strategic collaborators that will support us as we grow. These are climate initiatives, certainly moving towards green economy. I got an email today about this XRP Ledger learning portal, which is really cool. Haven't had a time to dive into it yet, but blockchain and crypto basics, intro into the XRPL, and all the way up to coding with the XRPL. So, some simple lessons: creating an account, sending XRP, creating trust lines, minting and burning. Just very, very awesome stuff here from xrpl.org. So certainly interested in these learning initiatives for the community. Again, we see more regulatory aspects. This is 124 sheets long. I'm definitely not going to get through this, but Financial Stability Oversight Council putting out a document about a report on digital asset financial stability risks and regulation. We can see the European Securities and Markets Authority. Anytime you see one of these major things happen, you always see piggybacking. So on top of FSOC, you see ESMA, European Securities and Markets Authority, doing the same thing. On top of that, you've got the Australian government talking about investments in crypto assets and taxes. And one of the examples they give down here is certainly XRP, which is pretty interesting to me. So Tim's vouchers, he used 800 Australian dollars to buy 400 XRP. They charge $5 for brokerage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. One of the funny things within these videos, every time I say et cetera, it's a fun drinking game, right? If you want to do that, because I say it a lot. This patent I found came out this isn't a patent actually, I'm sorry, this is a research article. About 4 or 5 days ago. Very curious to me that you've got multiple organizations in China doing studies on Ripple for multi-satellite autonomous mission allocations based on blockchain. And this is definitely Ripple. If you go down into the footnotes of this, it's definitely Ripple versus Swift. And there is a ton of studies within this. So, yeah, if you want to check this out, feel free. If you can find it, I'll try to post it if I get a chance. This was also very interesting. This was about 2 weeks ago. There was a conference, and this is somebody from Kyoto University. I'm assuming that's in Japan. Maybe South Korea, somewhere like that. But sorry, I didn't pull up the full article here. But it's talking about energy trading system Edison is using the XRP ledger. Now, I looked up Edison and tried Google searching energy trading system. There's a couple of different Edisons out there that are dealing in energy. They're all pretty big. Now, there's one directly in California, which probably isn't as big, but there's some very, very large ones. And didn't really find anything other than this, but energy trading system Edison using the XRP ledger, and that's from a conference, which is pretty cool. All right, now I want to get into this. This is Pitt, Ohio Express, talking about methods and systems for distributed cryptographically secured data validation. Now, they're very much so a logistics and a shipping company, pretty big in kind of like the tri-state area, especially like Pennsylvania, Ohio. But yeah, it's talking about the immutable sequential data structure within this patent, this is a newer patent as well, may be distributed consensus-based ledgers, such as those operated according to the protocols promulgated by Ripple Labs of San Francisco, or the Stellar Development Foundation of San Francisco, or Thunder Consensus. I'd have to look up Thunder Consensus. I don't know if I've even heard of that. But yeah, pretty interesting. I know they do talk about crypto assets as well, in lieu of a centrally controlling authority, such as a national bank to manage currency values. The number of units of a particular cryptocurrency may be limited. The rate at which those units of crypto entering the market may be managed. So pretty cool stuff that we're seeing from the supply chain aspect as well. Here's that full thing. So for the energy trading aspect, I'm sure you could look up Kyoto University. I'm not going to Google search it right now, but energy trading system Edison using the XRP ledger. This comes from Blockchain Kaiji 2022. BCK 2022 program. This came out late in July. So, Pitt, Ohio, if you're not aware, almost $1 billion in revenue on an annual basis, $828 million in 2020. They operate across 13 mid-Atlantic United States across the U.S., headquartered in Pittsburgh, and yeah, pretty interesting. So, all right, European Parliament members vote in favor of crypto and blockchain tax policies. I believe this is MICA, Markets and Infrastructure and Cryptos, that they were trying to facilitate here. And Bank of Russia adding digital assets to banking chart of accounts. So for any of you researchers out there, it's probably going to behoove you, which I started doing today, searching for digital financial assets and some verbiage around that, because that is what Russia has pushed through. That's what they're basically calling digital assets and cryptocurrencies under this umbrella of digital financial assets. And certainly not surprising. We've seen a lot of information coming out of from Russia over the past, I would say, beginning of this year. Last but not least, Swift completing a tokenized asset experiment. Nothing direct in here, but we do know that they teamed up with Clearstream, Northern Trust, and Settle. Northern Trust certainly has their hands in institutional grade cryptocurrency custody as well. This is just the beginning. I'm sure that they're trialing more stuff that we have not even heard about. Yeah, but if you guys want to join into this podcast show tomorrow, that'd be awesome. I've got actually two projects and a couple of community members from Ethereum, because I really think breaking down these silos is going to be huge. XRP community, hBAR community, XDC, anybody that wants to join for Quant. We had a big amount of viewers this last time, and I would really love for all you guys to join in and listen to what we're talking about. So I will talk to you guys when I talk to you. Thank you guys. Bye.